So the topic that we are discussing right now, and we started it last week in few sessions, is CSS. And we cannot emphasize more if you remember that we have already talked about CSS a lot, and now we can just find the importance of CSS in last week's class. Let me just open up the last week's session, what we discussed. All right, so let me just open up last week's folder and we can see that what we discussed last week. And today we will be just, focusing on that. Based on that, we will be trying to work more and more towards CSS. So you remember we have talked about these stylings and different stylings model that we have. We talked about we can import some of the fonts, some of the CSS from outside world as well. We can use those style sheets. We connect our document. We link our document with the style sheet in that fashion. We can connect our style sheet with the relative path or the style sheets that are present in our folder, or we can connect to our document to some of the outside world style sheets that can be used to implement different important things. So no worries, you have just joined. You have not missed anything at all. We are just having a quick introduction and everything. So we have talked about that, and we saw that we can define classes in that. We can define IDs in that. So please be very precise about that. That if we are using just the font name or the tag name, not font name, tag name. So we are talking about a selector. That selector can be used to apply styles on. We talked about we can apply style something like this. We said that we can create an ID. That ID would be unique for a particular element, and then we can work on that as well. And then we saw that if some tags are coming inside the other tags, so you remember we have done that practice that if P is inside header or span is inside that P, we can just use something like that. And then again, we talked about a class. Info box, we created a class, and then we saw that inside that if there is a P. So this all will be very handy for us because we will be just scaffolding on that, as I said. And today we will be just talking about our week 9, and I will be creating a new folder because this would be something new that we will be using. And today we'll be talking about our box model of CSS, which is very, very important. Something that we have. Okay, so for that, what I want to all of you is that again, just be ready with a document, because you can just, when you will be running these documents, you will be able to better see that how that things are doing. Not only index.html, rather I want to create a style.css. And again, by the way, you can name it anything you want, but we usually give it a style. And if you want to have complete document, you remember I've said you can write down HTML5 and complete document will appear. And you can just write down here. So today we will be talking about the box model of CSS, which is very important. And we'll be talking about that box model. So let's give it a heading. We are using box model, right? So we'll be talking about the box model today. And for that, what I need right now is just, we are just creating one document that we will be working on. And that document we will be just, using for our practice purpose or whatever you call it. We'll be just looking at it and trying to come up with different. So let's create a main section. So, we have got a main, when you are structurally organizing your contents in an HTML page, main is one of the section that comes as, for example, you want to give something. And inside that main, I'm using 3 sections, right? So first section I'm calling as link 1. And the second section, so again, just complete this one, and then I'll discuss this box model by considering this example, and you would be looking at. So this one will become link 2, for example. I'm just trying to make a link or something, or any document. And one more thing that I want is I want to give an ID, not with the capital, with a small one. So I want to give this as ID 1. I can give this ID 2, for example, or I can give ID 3. Right, so we have just created a document, and not only create that, let's run that as well, so that we can, because first we will be just looking at the console, the the console part or the styles part, and then we'll come back over. So this is nothing but we have a document where we have just defined H2 and we have defined a main section. So main is one of the structurally, semantically defined areas in HTML pages that we use for particularly defining a typical area. So you see, this is a document, something like this. And that is fair enough if you are having that. Okay, so this is a very, very good question. Question is divs, about divs. Is it necessary to add a lot of divs, or is it just good practice to do so? I would like to have answer from some of you, because you know, by this time, I hope you are now becoming very much familiar with all these things. So what do you people say to the answer to this question? I think it's a good practice. You say it's a good practice. Let's see. I'm just wondering because I added like lots of div text. Okay. Anyone else? There's a one answer. I think it is a good practice. But what else people would say? I have a very definite answer for that. But I need like maybe someone of you come with that definite answer. Again, what should be the rule of thumb while we are about to use div? What should be the rule of thumb while we are defining or using the span? What we should be the rule? So for other different things, what should be the rule of thumb? Anyone else than those 2-3 people? Let me just, yeah. Okay, just hold on. So the question was, is it a good practice to use div? So what I would recommend to you is that something like this. If you see here in our document, you are asking about the div. So div is a generic block level element container, block level container. You see here, I am making a block. It's a block of something. But I am using a main tag or a main element to include all this information inside this one. Why? Because I have got a main. For example, if I ask you, if I make a nav, can I make this one as also as a section? Of course, you know. And what is that? It will be just another section for me, right? So it will be another section for me. Now, what does that mean? I can make a generic. I can make a very specific container that would represent some navigation over here. I can make a very specific container that is representing a main over here. And if I have to combine something into a block that does not have any semantical meanings. For example, I say I want to collect the name of all students of this class. So to collect name, I don't have anything else. What I'll say, okay, that's a very good thing that I have got a div over here. I can collect all the names, for example, in H1 or whatever inside this one. So for example, Jason or etc. whatever, right? So I'll just so what I'm doing, I am saying effectively that I do not have any semantical specific block name for collecting the names. I hope that's making sense to you people. That I don't have any, if I don't have any specific semantical element to collect or group together some elements, what I will do is that I will try to just, you know, use the div, and that div would be collecting, or that div would have all those elements inside that. So first of all, let me just clear that. Exactly. There is no right or wrong. There is no less or more. You are allowed to use as much as you want. There is no bad practice related to it. I think you want it in that matter. There's no bad practice to use a number of divs. But that usually you should keep in mind. One thing you should keep in mind, that div should be used in all those situations where you don't find a semantical equivalent good tag to group together things. First of all, you got the answer. Then I'll take the second answer, because the second question, there is another question. You got the answer? So technically no right, wrong, technically no limitations, technically no bad practice of using more divs or less divs. But I hope you are understanding the need of using divs, right? Yeah, that's good. So now we have got another question. Is there technically, sorry. What is the use of using main, div, nav for some content inside it? Okay. If you are not clear about this question, it means that there is something lacking from the behind. Like again, our last lectures. So for you who is asking that, what is the use of main, div, nav for some same content inside it? So, you know, I can, that's a good question in one sense. How many of you feel that this will also be a very legitimate, a very legal thing with certain implementations. So do you think that this one, that what I have done, line 17 to line 22, how many of you feel that this is also a good thing? No issues with that. Do you find any issues with this line of code that I have selected? Anyone? Do you feel any no? Jonas says no. That's very good. Anyone else? No. Why? Because yeah, exactly. It's very fine. It's very fine. But now, yes, that's a very good answer. It is better to use a nav because it indicates what is inside. Yeah, semantically, if you have a tag which semantically represents what will be inside that, so it's better to use the semantical understandable tag. And this discussion takes us to our very second class, if you remember, or maybe third class. Someone asked that what is semantical tagging? What are semantical tags? So semantical tags are the one which when I start reading this section, I will say, okay, these are all navigational elements. Okay, these are all main part of our document. You need to go back to your notes in the very beginning, or like, let me just show you, because this is important. And I want all of you to have a good concept of it. Let me just show you something. In the HTML part, I will, rather, introduction to HTML. This one. Let me show you if they have just mentioned something over. Yeah, here. You see here. This is the answer for this question as well. These are organizational blocks with the document, helping give structure to the content and provide clues to the browser, screen readers, and other softwares about how to present the content. All those who are asking this question, I hope they're getting that now. I am in week 5, where we started our HTML and all. Notes of HTML5. And if you see here, header, introductory material at the top of the document. Nav, content related to navigation. Main, the main content of document, for example, a news articles or article paragraphs versus ads, links, navigation button, whatever, it can be anything. H1, H2, H3, it's basically headers for the section. Footer, the end of. So question is, so taking a row of buttons, for example, would it just be better to use a nav tag instead of, yep, you are right. That depends upon your need, and that would be always good to use div, to use nav rather than div. You are right. You got the question? So everyone would be looking at the question in the chat window. Someone has asked a question. So taking a row of buttons, and for example, would it just be better to use a nav tag? Yes, nav tag would be better. I'll keep that in mind for next time. Okay, so I hope now everyone understands this thing. And now if you see here, if you want to organize contents in a generic container, you see div is a generic container. We used to attach CSS style to particular area. So as someone said in the beginning, in our this question answer session, someone said that yes, div will be very useful in that situation where we want to apply different styles to different section of the document. So I hope this example now you people understand that I can even use div over here as well. Or I can use a nav over here. No worries, no. Rather, what I'll do is that since I'm calling them the nav, since I'm calling them the link 1, link 2, link 3, so rather than using this main, I'm using this one, no problems. But you should keep in mind that nav typically represents the link area of the document. And again, that, as I said, again and again, I'm saying that all depends upon yourself. That if you want to just place your navigation even somewhere, you can just always place that in navigation and no issues at all. Right? So I'm just keeping that in nav, no problem. So all those who are following me, they can change their document. And now we are using this nav. And that's not a problem for us. These tags are used to put the understandable content to just clarify that the tag should be matched. Yes, exactly. And you know for what? The question, another description or another comment has come. So basically, these tags are used to put the understandable content to just clarify the tag. Yes, clarify for what? You understand? Clarifying for what? You see here. It's written over here. You see the highlighted text. Helping, what organization block? Helping give structure to a content and provide clues. Clues to what? To browsers, screen readers, and other softwares about how to present the content or how to read the content. You have heard about the crawlers that are used on internet, which go to websites and crawl and scrape the data from those websites. So if a crawler comes to your website and they find out, okay, this is nav, it means these are all will be links over there. Even though I've not used an 8 anchor tag, but I'm just saying that you can say that this one will be all the links. Why? because these are all included inside what? NAV. I hope you got the answer. Everyone. These are very good questions. But again, these questions show that, these questions show me one thing for most of the people. For most of the people, it shows me that you very seldom you get a chance to go and read those notes after our lecture. You very seldom go to these notes because, if you are not going to these notes, of course, you will be just, missing out on lots of things. There are lots of things that I want all of you to just discuss with me or maybe question to me. But again, only those will question who will go through those notes. And I find very, very few people who are going. Anyhow, so let's talk about that. So this is the document that we all have. I'm just stopping here because there were so many questions and answers. Now I'll stop here and I'll ask everyone. Everyone is ready with this document now, this month? Because I have to make you understand the box model today, which is very important. That's good. That's good. 2 responses for yes. So whether your response should be a yes or a no, that's good. I'm not asking to clear now. I'm just asking that you are ready with this document now, because I'm moving on. Okay. So now this document is running. I've not used the CSS till now. I want you to show something. No problem. Yes. So if you open up this console or the inspect window, I want to show you something interesting. The box model. We are discussing the box model in CSS. And let me give you, rather, our notes will have this one. I'll give you a quick introduction from the notes and then we'll talk about this box model. This one. Because we'll be talking about this. So this represents our box model. What is a box model? If you see, all elements in DOM can be considered to be a box. Whatever you store in DOM, it acts like a box. The box model is a specification for how all various attributes of an element sizing relate to each other. So box model will tell how documents are related to each other. The first thing that you people would be finding very difficult to, to organize your contents in a way that they must be coming one after the other, or there must be no spacing, there will be very much spacing. We'll be looking at that. So whenever we just store something in a document, in HTML document, everything in DOM is considered to be a box. The box model is a specification for how the various attributes of element sizing relate to each other. A box is made up of 4 distinct parts. See here, there are 4 distinct parts. First is margin. See here, when something is a box, the first thing is the margin. Do you all see the margin? I'll show you practical examples of that. This is the margin. There is one thing called a border. So this is a border which comes after margin, the gray area, right? There is something called a padding. Padding is area, white space between the border and the inner content. So this padding is inside the content. And as I said, I'll show you the example. And then we have content. The actual content is only this one. So if there is a box, this is only the actual content. This represents the padding inside the box. This represents the border outside the box. And this represents the margin of the box. Is everyone with me? Because it's a very important part. And if you understand this, you will be very good in CSS later on. That's good. That's good. Now come to our document. And now come to our documents HTML part. I will just, make it a bit bigger, and because I want to show you some very interesting. If I click on body over here, do you see something interesting? We have got few different things. If you come here and you see the style of this body, display block. We'll talk about display block and display flex today, but right now just consider display block means it is showing it in the block form. What is the other thing you see? Margin 8 pixel. And if you come here, do you see that this is the margin which we are talking about? This is the margin of the body we were talking about. This is the margin, right? Let's do one thing. You come here and write down here margin to the small. Write down here margin 0. Right? Margin 0. What has happened? Have you experienced that? What has happened? If you see here, what has happened to my document? Okay, let me just tell you another thing. Yeah. That's right. Let me just close this one for the time being. And I want to do something. Background, color. Wait, that's okay. Just showing the background. Now, if you see that this is our document, and if you see the body is coming after this, you see that gray area is coming. So body's margin right now is 8 because I have just closed that one, right? So margin is 8. So if I convert that margin to 0, what you see is that body is perfectly stretched with the screen. No more margin. Yes, no more margin. So body is perfectly. What? How you can see that? No, now it is not, because now it is showing that that orange, light orange or light, like like light, whatever color this is, the area over there, right? But if I do it 0, it means that body is perfectly stick to my document. Everyone understand that? As I said, this is very important part, and I want all of you to be very vigilant here. So if you make margin is equal to 0, your body will stick to this one. And if I just remove that, it means now it's 8. And how about this one? If I do this 10, what will happen? Okay, 10 pixels. 10 pixels. You see what has happened? My margin is now 10 pixel, and my document has started to come away. Yes, right. If I do it, which is very odd, but I do it that to check it. Do you people understand what is going on? This is the margin now. This orange area is the margin now. I hope everyone is getting that. That's very good. That's very good. Now let's make it 0. Right now, let's make it 0. Yeah. You are right. You are right. That's a very good question. Can you give a margin from left and right? Yes, you can give. Let me just do that. I'm doing that. I'm closing this one. So margin is back to 8. Now you see margin left, right? Margin left, and I say 10 pixel. Oh, sorry. I just used the wrong word. It's not margin colon left, margin dash. Okay. So let me start. Margin left, right? I've given margin left, and I am giving 20 pixel, for example, just to show the difference. 20 pixel. You see what has happened if you see the body. Do you understand? The x-axis, it has been taken from, like, to 8, 20 pixel, and you can do same with the, you were saying margin on x and y. Yes, margin top, that is called margin top, that is called margin dash top, and I say 100 pixel. I hope you're understanding this margin thing, margin sort of thing. And it's very good for every content. Believe me, once you understand this concept, you'll be very good in everything. So margin is making something like that. Margin top can be like that, margin bottom. So if I just remove this margin top and margin left, so it has gone back to its previous, like the default one, which is here, margin top, margin 8. Does it add the base margin amount, or is it set to 10? Okay, so it basically adds, does it add to the base margin amount, or is it set? No. It is basically, it comes in the sequence. It sets it. It comes in the sequence. So basically, it will just, whatever value you will give, it will be overridden. Let me just refresh that so that we get a clean shape here. Now, if you see that, if I say margin and I say, for example, 10 pixel, right? So margin has broadened. If I say, as I said, I will just do this last time so that everyone understand. 100 pixel, you see that margin has gone over there. My body has stretched 100 pixel from the top and 100 pixel from the left. So if you give a single value, it means you are talking about from all 4 sides. You got the point? Who was asking this question? Okay, so this was related to margin. Now another very important thing, border. There is something called a border. If I say there is no border right now, we can see the margin, and let's make its margin 0 so that we can see a good effect. Or maybe just keep it over. So now one thing is border. So if I write border, and there are different values for the border. 1 pixel, solid, gray. Do you see something important? There is a border, and what is that border? This is 0.994 or something, 1 pixel border, which is coming around my body, all body. Okay, and how about this one? If I do it, 2 pixel, solid, red. Do you see that everything? And now we can see that effect interestingly. If I do margin, which is 8 right now, I make it 0. Perfect. Now, can you see that? It's interesting now. Our body is all stretched to my web browser, And not only it's stretched to the web browser, but also it is red colored, like, you know, a border around it. Now, if I increase this border, I've gone mad, and I say 20 pixel border, solid, right? And black. Do you see what is happening? Of course, that this does not look good, but I'm just telling you to understand that this is called the border. Everyone got it? What are the alternate options for solid? Okay, so there are lots of options. There is a dash, I think. There's one dash, or I'll have to just check that. We can just check and go and check it. There are different options for that, solid, and let's just see that, because I don't usually, you don't remember that, and usually whenever we need that, border options. Hopefully it will give CSS border options. You see, dotted, dashed, double, groove, inside, outside, so something like that. Let's try one more here. Maybe dotted. So I was forgetting this dotted, maybe. Dotted. Right? And then dashed is also there, I think. We have just seen. So dashed. Something like that. Usually got the answer? So of course, there are lots of options, and you can always go and, you know, in web, this is always, you have got all these help available that you can just use those border options. Anyhow, so now this is basically what we are saying, that 20 pixel, not 20 pixel, of course. I want to have, maybe if it's a 2 pixel, you see that document is having a very nice border. So two things clear. We know about border because border is that part. Now this border is 2 pixel, 1.989 something, you know, approximately 2 pixel. What is padding? I hope you now understand that. If I say padding, and I say, for example, 10 pixel, who will tell me what has happened? 10 pixel padding will do what? Yes, anyone? Exactly, the white space between the content and the space between the border and the content. Yes, the space between the border. If you see here, it is here, this one. So this one has got to 10. Like again, I've gone mad. 100 pixel. So you see that now between the border and this one, we have got 100 pixels in between. Right? Which I will never want. So if you want to have some space, if you want to have some breathing space, so you will say 10 pixel. So, you know, now we have got some breathing space here. Breathing space means, again, that now we know that now I can, for example, 15 pixel. So you see that now my contents are becoming a bit more organized. They are giving me breathing space. And if I do this zero, you know, everything will be stuck to its you know, it is stuck to its left and the top. Right? So this is something that we are doing. So basically, it is basically what? Why is not the top the same though? Yes, that's an interesting point, because let me just see that why it is not giving the right value for the top. Oh, okay. Just hold on. What is that? Padding is 0. All right. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you very much. So it's a block. So because H3 is a block level element, and if you talk about this H3, thank you very much for someone for helping out. So if you open up that body and you see that you have got this H, so this is basically, you see, this is stuck to it. But again, thanks, Khushwan, thank you very much. So now this is again, this is giving that space. And how can you do that? You see, if you want to see really that space, what I should do over here? Can anyone tell me what should I do? Yes. Can I do margin 0? So now it is back there. Why? Because now we have done its margin also to 0. But what's margin? Typically, we are talking about the H2 margin now. Right? It's at H2 margin. You got it? So that space also we can just remove that space also if we go and apply to that. Okay, so the last thing which is remaining is basically, if you talk about body, we are still talking about body. This is the content area. The content area is this blue highlighted area inside that. These are all the contents. right? So if I do something like this, if you come here and you do width and you do 300 pixel, width 300 pixel. Do you understand what is going on? Now my body is of 300 pixel size. Like the contents are only 300 pixels. If I make it more short, for example, 30 pixels, you see that body is basically the text is going overflowing. And now why it is overflowing? Because body we have just done body 30 pixel size, which should not be the case. And usually we use that like, not 100 pixel or 100%. So, we have got different options of using that, and we'll just talk about that. So 100% will just make it 100% to that, or if you just do not define anything off of it, so it will be fixed to that. Right. So everyone understand that this is our body part. Everyone clear? So if you are clear about that, let's come to our let's go back to our document and now discuss this. How can we implement this by using CSS? Now you come here. This was our document that we were using, and this temp was I was just created for you. Don't save, and even I want to delete it. I don't want it over here. Okay, so style.css. So in style.css, what we are doing is that we are first of all working on the main content. So have we defined the main section over here? No, we have defined the nav. I defined nav main in the beginning, but now I'm changing it. So nav section, this is our nav section, right? This one. I want to work in this nav section. So now you see here, how can we work on that? If I say the same things that we were implementing temporarily, now we can implement it, permanently. If I say 3 pixel, solid, gray, I am just giving that to style to that. And let's run our document. But it's not applying. Why it's not applying? Other than Khushwant, can anyone answer me why it's not applying? Look at my code, and it's not applying that style sheet. Why? Of course, that is important. So I want to link that. So you write down link, rel is equal to style sheet. We need to connect that one. Sorry, spelling wrong. Style.css. And again, I said you that you can just add one other type equal to text/CSS. So this is another, if you want to add, that's not very mandatory to use that. So now I've added that one. Now let's see. Okay. So now my nav, this was only for the nav one, right? So my nav is now occupying a complete screen, first of all. And also what it is doing is basically it has a border surrounding border. Right. Now I want to introduce to you something in this box model, something very interesting, because this nav contains multiple sections inside that. So what we can do is that there is another interesting feature, flexible feature for displaying contents. This is called flex. And let me show you what flex does, what magic flex does. Let me just open up both of them together so that we can see both of the things alongside. That will be good. Okay, so this is here, and let me just make it over here so that we can see both of the things together. So I've defined display flex. What display flex does? Now save this one. You see something has happened. Yes, I can show. This is a CSS. We are right now inside the CSS. You want me to show CSS? We are inside CSS right now. Right? So if you see here, the first thing that it has done. So if I just remove that, first of all, look at my output on the right side. If I save this one, these links are coming like this one, because section is also representing as a not an inline section, but rather it is just showing us the new line every time a new block is being going in this section tag. So you see that section ID1, ID2, ID3 are coming into the different lines, different tags, right? Now if I define display flex, which is a very interesting one, and we'll use up very much this one. And if I save this one, the first thing that you see is that all of three have started to come in a single line. You see there? So we'll be using, as I said, we'll be using this flex umpteen times during our project. There will be lots of places where we'll be using. Now there is another very interesting attribute of this one. Justify content. Justify content. Now we have different values for the justify content. If I say center, all three will come in between the center. Okay, let me just tell you one thing. For each section, I want to define a color, right? So section, every section. So I am defining, for example, I'm defining a color for that. So section, right? And I will say, for example, background color equal to any light color, light cyan, for example. Save that. It's very light. Salmon is good. That is great. So let me just define. So now I'm just doing that again. Deleting that, for example, cutting that, save. You see that links are coming like this one. So the first section is of this light salmon color, link 2, link 3. Now, if I just place these two things and save my document, so you see that these three have combined and come into in between. Now, this has different options. We can combine them at the flex start. Sometimes we want them to start from the start. Sometimes we will start from the end, and we'll see the examples. And we can take it to the end. And the one thing that you will find very interesting is space evenly. Space evenly. You see that? Interesting. Now our elements are coming with even space. If you see here, if I just make it a bit this one, if I do that, so they are maintaining their space. You see, maintaining space. So this flexibility is giving us to maintain that space. Number one. Number two, space evenly. Now there are other options as well. If I go space between, if I save that one, you see what it does. It takes the first element to the start, last element to the end, and makes equal space in between. You see it will keep on stretching that. Yes, you will do that. And let me tell you, I'll tell you another way, because this is one of the way. There is another way of grid. I'll tell you the grid as well. Don't worry. So you see here, this one. Interesting, isn't it? We can play with this one. And there is other option, space between, and then we have space around. See what is the space around does. So what is space around? It has just taken at a generic level, and it has just taken it over here, and this over here, and this over here. And if you see that, it will just keep on making that. Now, how many of you understand all those options over here? I've just given you flex all options. This is very interesting. And I feel that you will be just now thinking as someone is saying that you did it for assignment 3. Yes, of course, now you can just do all those things. So we can generally use that space evenly, or you can use whatever you want. So when you just say space evenly, it will be just, give even space to those particular one, and it will just keep on maintaining. All right. Right. So got everyone? So this is the flex model, and now flex model basically helps us out in a different thing. So let me just, in section we can implement different styles. I'm just telling you here to just know about different things. For example, I want to say that color should be white. I want to display the text as white color, for example. So what I'll do is white. What I can do is that, for example, I can say padding. If you want to do any padding inside that, you can just do that 2 pixel padding or something, whatever. So what it will do is that you see that it has just, made those white. So you can work lots of things between that, and this all will be working for them. Now, another thing that we can do, another very interesting thing, is that the IDs that we have defined. You see that we have defined an ID 1, ID 2, ID 3, ID 4. No, Khushwant, we cannot change the color of padding. At least I don't know about that. So we cannot change the color of padding. Rather, it should be just padding is just that the space it provides you between the text and that. So now we have got 3 IDs. So I'm defining these IDs. So for example, 1. This is my first ID. You see, I've defined 3 IDs, 1, 2, and 3. So after that, I will give 2. Right? And after that, I'll give 3. So I'll work on that. And I'll tell you that flex can work in that way as well. So there is an option of flex that it provides the portion of the flexing. For example, if I say flex : 1, right? For example, I say flex colon 1, and the same I do for free as well. What is happening here? Can anyone tell me? This one, first one is occupying. Let me just apply a border just to show the 1 pixel solid black. You see the border has come. So now if you see that we have got this option, that we have got, you know, the border is showing that. So now if you say 1, 1 and 1, it means that 1 upon 3, 1 upon 3, 1 upon 3, it's all distributed upon 1 upon 3, 1 upon 3, 1 upon 3. Now I can do something interesting here. If I do this 2, you see what has happened? You see the link 3 is coming in 2 sections. Like again, now it has gone what? 1 upon 4. So if I say it has gone 1 upon 4, and this one also gone 1 upon 4. And this one has gone to, yes, anyone? This one has gone to 2 upon 4. Right? So 2 upon 4. Like it means that it is taking half of the part. Right? So now if I just remove that one. So you see that we can define these flex values over here. We have different values for the flex, and you can just do something like this. You said that this one will be occupying 2, and this will be occupying 1 or whatever. So now the middle section will go. So how many of you now feel that your assignment will look more good now? Your assignment will start looking more and more good, right? So the coming assignment, or yeah. So there will be lots of things. As I said, I will be just mentioning few important things related to that. So, but what I want is that you should have this. So first of all, what is the takeaway from here? And I want you to just really think about that. The takeaway is that when you define an HTML page, we try to make its CSS according to the given content, right? So according to the given content. And what does that mean? That so first of all, I have given this. So first thing is H2. What I can do is that I can just define even for H2 as well. If I just close all this, and I go here at the top, and here I say H2, for example, and I want to imply some style on H2. So you can always apply style on H2. For example, you say color, green something, whatever. So what happens is that you can just, you just define according to your given classes, your given contents, and then by using those given contents, by using those given classes, you will always be working on that, and you will be just, trying to find. Now, so now what I'll be giving you. Any questions thus far? So if you want to read about this box model, you see that we have got this box model over here. So you see that we can even apply border to bottom or border to left, border to right, and things like that. Even we have got these options as well. So what does that mean? Let me just show you. In this section, rather than defining border 1 pixel, I say border, for example, left. I'm just giving a border to the left and 3 pixel border. Now you see here, you see that the border has gone from the rest of the part. It's only coming to the left of it, right? Everyone has the left border. So if you see here, there are lots of options. Border bottom style solid, and that you can just define the border bottom style as well. Border style solid, bottom width 2 pixel, and border image outside. So there are lots of things. Image repeat and stretch repeat. So these are all the options that you can play with it. So you see there, here we have given the example, that dot example 1, dot example 2. You can always just read this out. And I would highly encourage you to read these notes, because these notes will give you lots of confidence. The things that you were looking for, that these all were present in your notes, and you were not looking at the notes by that time, right? So there is this display property there. That's just define this display property. If you make display none, it means that thing would be disappeared from there, and display none makes it disappear from your page. Like that, if you are defining loading name and something as hash, so you see that it is just providing this position fix. So there is something called a position, and position element just gives us the element where you want to just place your position. So that is fixed. So I have the example that I will be showing you. You will be just you'll be just looking at that example, and that they will be changing. So now these are the few things that you see that display here. We are saying that H1, and then we have H1 over here, and you can just work on that. Now there is another very interesting thing, FlexBoss Froggy, which you will very much enjoy. Everyone enjoys this very much, and I usually give this at the towards the end of this section. So you see here, this is a game, a Froggy game. What does it say? It says that it tries to give you practice of the flex, and there are 24 levels. So the first task for today, let me just write down those over here, like right, and in H1. So for the first task for today, is play the game to all levels, right? You have to complete all those 24 levels. This is very easy, very simple. So this is first one. And how you'll play that, you see here. Welcome to the FlexBoss Froggy, a game where you help Froggy and friends by writing CSS code. So we'll be writing CSS code to move this Froggy to its base. Now using the justify content property, which aligns item horizontally and accepts the following value: flex start, flex end. We have just talked about this. So if I write justify content, right, and I write flex center, for example. Not flex center, it was only center, right? It's not with flex. So only center. If I do that center, you see Froggy has come to the middle. But what I do is that if I do flex end, you see here that Froggy has reached to its particular location, and when you will just take your Froggy to that location, it will go to the next one. Now you see here there are two Froggies. What statement you will use to make both of them sit to their own basis? Yes, align. So these are the values. Flex start, flex end, center, space between, space around. So align right might not work for you. So these are the values, and all of the other values will be given with its documentation. So right now you have to use these 4 or 5 values, and on the basis of these 4 or 5 values, we have to just do. So for example, if I say justify content, and I say center, you see both of them have gone set. So now you have to, the first task for today is that you have to just settle all these one according to their baseline. So this is the task 1 for today. Right, everyone? So this is the task 1. The task 2 is more interesting one. The YouTube remaking video. Like I'll be just sharing a video link, and I'm about to share that with you people. Okay. And these tasks need to be completed. Let me just share that link over here, first of all. Okay. So I am sharing this over here. This is the link. And let me share that one over here as well. Can you copy it from the chat window as well? Can you people copy? Oh, okay, you cannot copy that. Okay, so we have got that document, you remember? Oh, okay, no problem. So we have one document, and what was that? Code, class code or something, right? Okay, so I'll have to just find out the document that will come with my docs. Okay, it's basically working with the link click. Someone says that link clicking is working, so that's very good. If it's working with the link click.